That's why I brought in my hat. I need to rephrase. Should have brought my hat.
We lost the first game.
So you had to fight way back. Yeah.
I think the way the schedule's together, to win it all, we have to play 4 games. I don't know that we've got a lot of patience for those.
Yeah.
It's hard to win 4 games.
Okay. So it's not too late getting after dinner. Right.
I would just really be sad.
It's all about you. Good, but I know it's not.
I didn't believe it either. You're gonna be the one that has the ones on the field like that, or the ones that break apart around that.
That's what it is.
So good evening. The time is 7 p.m. and I would like to call to order the Monday, July 11th, 2025 meeting of the Southampton County School Board. We have all 9 of our school board members present, so we do have a quorum. School board members, the agenda was included with the materials that we received on board docs. Is there a board member who needs to add an item to the agenda tonight? I'm sorry, August 11th. I'm sorry. Call to order the Monday, August 11th meeting, 2025. So is there a school board member who needs to add an item to the agenda tonight?
I'd like to add something to closed session personnel. Okay,
so we're adding, under personnel, this is going to be, Ms. Bond has a personnel issue, personnel matter. Is there another board member who needs to add an item to the agenda? So then we do need a motion to approve the agenda as amended. We have a motion by Dr. Kendall.
Second.
A second by Ms. Lane to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The minutes of our July 14th organizational meeting, our July 14th regular meeting, and our July 31st special meeting were included with your materials on board docs. Are there any corrections to those minutes? So if there are no corrections, then the minutes are approved as distributed. We're now down to recognitions. We don't have any. So the next item is public comment. We have no persons who signed up for public comment. So we're now down to matters from previous meetings. If you remember at our July meeting, we talked about FOIA and the FOIA request report. And I thought we had agreed that tonight the superintendent would be able to give us an update in terms of FOIA requests and where we stand in terms of FOIA requests for fiscal year 25. So, Dr. Shannon.
Good evening, everyone. We are passing out a copy of a document that includes the FOIA request from June 30th of last year to July 1 of last year to June 30th of this year. And would you like me to read each of them? Okay.
However you want to present.
Okay, all right. So anyway, the items are included. I really don't feel that it's necessary to read the FOIA request, but I do have the date that they will receive, what the actual request is. We redacted the names of the persons making the request, and then we have the date of fulfillment. If it was referred to our attorney, that is listed also, and sometimes you'll see if it was referred to the attorney, it might have taken a little longer to fulfill the request, but aside from that, all the dates are accurate as far as fulfillment is concerned. And then if we had to go to court regarding a request, that is also noted.
Do you know about how many personnel hours were spent doing FOIA requests? Because we're also trying to gauge the time factor, because somebody has to pull all this information. So, and it's fine if you don't, I was just curious.
Let me get back with you on the number of hours total that we spent on FOIA requests.
Okay. So board members, you want to take a few minutes and look at this information, or we can,
I know roughly it's costed the division about $10,000 to fulfill all of the FOIA requests that are included here.
what I'd like to do is, since board members are just getting it, maybe you can review the information and we can put it on the agenda for the September meeting to discuss the report that we received tonight. So if we have questions, we can bring them to the September meeting. Is that agreeable to board members, as opposed to trying to sit here and read it now?
Yes.
You might want to take it home, digest it, and then come back in September if you have questions, and then we can talk about it in September. Is that agreeable?
Yes.
Okay, I think the consensus then is that, Ms. Arts, the consensus is that we'll put it on the agenda for the September meeting. So for your discussion will still be a matter from previous meetings for the September meeting. So we carried over, we have this report to look at and to discuss for our September meeting. So now we're down to action items. And the first action item is the budget report and finance report and payment of bills. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Joy Carr, the Director of Finance, will come forward and give that report.
Good evening, and the school board and all present tonight. If I can bring your attention to the preliminary expenditure report for the month of July, if you'll see that our local operating budget for this year is at $35,877,931. Our total expenditures through July 31st total $1,297,609.56. This leaves us a balance of $34,580,321.44. Please note that as of the date of this report, 3.62% has been expended from the operating budget. Now, also included for your review and attached to your board docs agenda is a revenue report for the month of July. And this shows revenue received from all funding sources of $1,422,197.77. And of course, it also has a column showing you the outstanding. The revenue for the operating budget that was received was $1,402,405.69, which is the total that you see less the funds received for textbooks, which is budgeted outside the operating budget. As of the month of July, we had no funds received for our federal programs. But also, please note that some of the state revenue sources that you see, those revenues do not start flowing until like the middle of the year. So we won't see some of those start to flow until January. And also sales tax, you'll see that there's no sales tax revenue for July. This is because we are on a 1 month accrual for our sales tax. So that will start showing up next month. Now, the July bill list has been attached to the agenda for the board's approval tonight. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Clark? Do we have a motion to pay the bills? So moved. We have a motion by Ms. Lane. Sir. A second by Mr. Scott to pay the bills as presented. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Okay, thank you so much.
The agreement for the contract with Paul D. Camp Community College concerning dual credit courses, that contract is included. Dr. Shannon, would you please explain to us what's going on there?
Sure. The contract is pretty much the same as it has been in previous years. One of the changes is that there is an increase in the tuition. The increase is from $163.40 per credit hour to $171.95 per credit hour. Also, something that's very notable is that the General Assembly passed an act that now allows students to participate in the passport or UCGS courses at no cost to the students or their families or the school division. Now, if we don't have anyone that is able to teach those courses, then the college will provide those courses virtually, again, at no cost to the students or their families or the school division.
Tell us more about those kinds of courses that you just referenced.
Actually, the courses are listed on page.
These are ones that students can take at no cost.
Yes, and they're still general courses. So, like if the passport, for example, contains English, art appreciation, humanities. I mean, there's still courses that would essentially be utilized for a degree. And then if you look on page 25 of the agreement, you'll also find the courses. And essentially with the UCGS courses, that's basically the first 33 credit hours of students' coursework in college. So it's essentially paying for the first year of college. And again, the courses are listed on page 25, but it's, college composition 1 and 2. Then they'll take 2 of 3 courses, and they get to choose the next 2 of the 3 courses, which are humanities. They'll select 1 behavioral science, which could be macroeconomics, psychology, sociology. And then they'll also select 1 of the biology or chemistry. They could take quantitative reasoning, statistical reasoning, pre-cal, Western civilization, but the courses are outlined that they're able to take.
Any questions, comments about this? Is there any impact to us or anything else you need to say about it?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Dr. Goodwin, if I might, I have a question about students' eligibility for dual enrollment. And actually I had a constituent ask me that, where this came from, was asking me about the students having to have a B average in order to take the dual enrollment classes. But the classes that are offered that are the CTE, do they also have to have the B average in their high school courses in order to be able to take that, or are those only the dual enrollment courses?
So if the CTE course counts as a dual enrollment course, then they would have to meet that criteria.
Okay.
Yes.
Do hours, do you know?
Do I know if ours
If
count?
our CTE, are they all dual
The
enrollment?
majority of them do. They-
Okay.
Yes, they count for dual enrollment dual credit.
Gotcha, okay, thank you.
I think on page 36 of the packet too, it shows the criteria for CTE versus dual enrollment classes.
Say it again, Mr. Rogers.
Page 36 of the packet actually reflects the criteria, at least in the MOU, for student participation. So CTE requires a GPA of 2.0 or higher, but it looks like transfer courses require 3.0. I'm not sure if that's the same exact question that she was asking.
Yeah, I think so. The question was about, if they were taking a dual enrollment class that was English versus welding, if it was a student that didn't have the 3.0, and taking the CTE courses.
Can we make exceptions? Dr. Shannon, I guess that's.
I'm
the
sure
way
we
make
can.
exceptions.
And I'm sure we talk with the college is very flexible, and they do work with us, when it comes to our students, so, yeah.
So if there's a student who wanted to take electricity and did not have a 3.0,
Right.
I think you're
Yes.
asking, can that student still take that class?
Yes, like if they were talking about a student that was interested in going into the workforce and not necessarily a college bound who might not have the best grades,
Right.
but be able to offer the CTE and industry credit kind of class, if it wasn't something, like I think it's electricity and welding that are, that are taught there, and yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and we should make sure students can't take it without meeting that 3.0 criteria. Any other questions, discussion? This is an action item.
I move that we approve the updated MOU or an agreement with Quality Camp for dual enrollment courses.
We have a motion by Mr. Rogers, a second by Ms. Lane, or Smith. We have a motion by Mr. Rogers, a second by Mr. Smith to approve the Camp Community College dual enrollment contract. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Last month, we had for a first read the locally awarded verified credits policy. And at that time, board members wanted to see the old policy versus the new policy, because this month it is included for action. But Dr. Shannon, you want to go through and perhaps tell us what the major changes are?
So, one of the major changes is that it's inclusive of all students now. In years past, it was the policy was primarily designed for IEP or 504 students. However, we utilized that policy more broadly than it was designed to be utilized to include all of our students, because we did not have another policy. But now that we have another policy, this policy does speak specifically to all students. And it talks about when they entered the 9th grade and then what is included or what happens, regarding locally awarded verified credits. In addition to that, it also outlines an appeal process for the students. In years past, there really was no appeal. We had a board committee that sat on the committee for us for locally awarded verified credits, and whatever they said was final. But now there is an appeals process for students, so if they don't agree with whatever the determination is, they can go through the appeals process. And then also included is that we cannot make any changes to this policy. Some people think that we can add criteria, but we cannot add criteria because this comes from the State Department, and so the way that this is written is the way that that it has to be. We cannot add additional criteria, for example, attendance or discipline or things like that, to make those count for locally awarded verified credits. It has to be, centered around what we have in the policy.
My concern, being on that committee, was that students seemed to come up surprised that they didn't have the verified credit. So I was hoping that our policy would have something in here that would say that the students would receive, you know, like at the beginning of their junior year or something, in writing from the high school, the number of verified credits that they have. So, and so or maybe that can be a process. I'm concerned that students and parents claim they didn't know that their students were missing credits. So how can we build into our policy a mandatory notification from the high school? So that's the question.
I know that other divisions, the kids meet with their school counselor at the beginning of each school year, and don't they go over credits there?
That's what they say, but when they come to the committee, parents and students both claim that we have no written.
They could just document the meetings.
Dr. Harris
And I did beg for her to come on up, so thank you, Dr. Harris.
Absolutely.
She's been working with
Give me 1 second with this microphone. Good evening, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Dr. Shannon and board members. Thank you so much. I'm trying, just work with me in this microphone. So I want to address Dr. Goodwin's comment first, if I may. That will be a part of the process with the high school. Actually, in this policy, it states when and by the high school must notify student 2 ways. They can't depend on notifying the student themselves. They also have to make contact with the parent, guardian, or caretaker. It also has to be documented, written, and it also has to go in their cumulative folder. So I will be verifying that along with the building principal that this happens. This must occur before Christmas break. It doesn't give a date, it just states in December that these communications must happen. I've already been working with the high school team. We will be meeting with students and parents and caretakers in September to start this process and have these conversations. They have the list of students. They reduced that list by working in summer school, and so that list has been reduced. But to your point, I heard the concern also from the principal as well, that notification needed to go out much earlier. Right. Yes, ma'am.
So we don't need to have this, it'll be in your procedure?
It's in the process.
Okay.
Those are procedural
Okay.
steps that the high school must take.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions? Mr. Scott, and I sat on that. Any comments, Mr. Scott?
Thank you both for that. Any other questions, concerns that I can address while I'm standing here? Okay, thank you.
Any other questions about this locally verified credits policy? Just again, this is an action item. You have a motion by Mr. Smith, a second by Ms. Bond, Ms. Lane. I need to start looking up. A second by Ms. Lane. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Say again. Yeah, but I still have to look up. And I'm so busy looking down. So we're down to item D, which is the crisis plan, Dr. Shannon.
Yes, so each year we are actually required to create a crisis plan. But in addition to it being a requirement, it's also something that I believe is just necessary in order for us to know the steps, the procedures that we'll take in order to keep our students safe. So Mr. Charity is our security supervisor, and he'll come forward and talk a little bit more about our crisis plan.
Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? Our crisis plan It's basically the same as we had last year with a few adjustments. I believe you have those. The template changed from DCJS from last year to this year. So all I did was input into the new format that was done. We already had a good crisis plan in years past, and so we added to that, and we followed that. It worked well this year. In speaking with the Sheriff's Department and the Fire Department, and they have a new emergency manager for the county. I think it's Mr. Herman. That'll be working with us also. So when I'm going out and doing security checks and things of that nature, and I have to do a safety audit for each school, Mr. Herman, along with the principal and a SRO, will be with us, checking doors, lighting, fencing, and I believe Mr. Melby will attest to the fencing, the new fencing and bollards that we have around the schools, at all our schools now, that will protect our children and our staff. Do I have any questions from the board on any security matters for the division?
Is there anything in this plan you need to highlight for the board? Anything you want us to take particular attention to?
Not at this time, ma'am. I mean, like I said, what we implemented for our lockdowns, we do use a standard response protocol, and that has worked well with the whole secure lockdown. And so we've used that at all of our schools doing drills, and we used it a lot, sorry to say, at the middle school. And the procedures work just fine. The relocation, posts are within the manual. That will stay with the principals and the division staff. We do have another manual with a little bit less information that will go to the schools and be given to the teachers. So just in case that document or documents happen to get out, it does not contain any pertinent information that could be used against us, like locations, sites, numbers, and things of that nature. So the principals will be getting that after the approval. Like I said, it's just a drawn down documents that will be given to the principals that will be handed out to the teachers. And they will follow the same standard response protocol. Most of the heavy lifting will be done by myself and the division staff, Mr. Melby, and the Sheriff's Department or the Fire Department, whoever comes in at that time to be the incident command person. So once there is a situation, if it involves law enforcement, then the sheriff will be the incident commander, and we will fall under him until such time as he releases it. Same thing for the fire department. If there's anything regarding fire and rescue, we will relinquish that incident command to the fire chief on scene, be it the captain or the lieutenant, and then we will follow their directions and start working on recall of staff and students until we can get them back in the building or move to a different location.
Any questions for either Mr. Cherry or Dr. Shannon concerning the crisis plan?
I've got one, maybe it's a comment, maybe it's a question, I don't know. First of all, the plan is very comprehensive, it's a great plan. One of my thoughts as I was reading through behavioral assessment is, I know the purpose that we're writing this for is protection of campus safety and all of that. I would like to see us spend a little time maybe working through making some trauma-informed approaches to a behavioral incident that might happen with a student. So things like a child that's reacting with suicidal or self-harmful behaviors, to see that worked in about how we might leverage support from the school counselor directly or things like that, versus always treating it straight like a behavioral threat assessment to what's going on the ground. So maybe some trauma-informed language in this. That is an area where I think we could strengthen the plan. I think it covers everything we should have, but I'd like to see us grow in that area. And that might be some that might be some school-specific type of planning that has to happen to know who the proper staff are at each one of the schools to be able to deal with those incidents.
Yes, those will be Miss Boone, who is the division school counselor, mental health person, and she will be spearheading that if there is something. So we have done that in the past, not actually done the threat assessment per se right off the bat. However, you know, Miss Boone will lend her services and an ear to those individuals in need. And she travels from school to school and works with the principals and the guidance counselors at each school.
Additional questions or comments? This is an action item. We have a motion by Ms. Lane.
Sir.
A second by Mr. Scott to approve the crisis plan. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Item E is the memorandum of understanding between the Southampton County Public Schools and the Southampton County Sheriff's Department. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, ma'am. I see Mr. Cherry is still standing there, so I'll just make a comment and then I'll turn it back over to him. But the memorandum of understanding essentially outlines what each entity's roles and responsibilities are, so that we're very clear about what the sheriff department is supposed to do and what the school division is supposed to do whenever something occurs. It includes the chain of command, you know, all of our responsibilities, everything about searching, search and seizures, SRO access, threat assessments, school safety audits, you know, what have you. It's very extensive, I think. And Mr. Cherry, if you have something that you'd like to add, you can.
Yes, ma'am. The format that you have right now, I'm going to have to alter that format just a little bit to be up to date. There's a few things that I did, I would say, did not include, and I need to include those before you vote on it. I do have another training with the SWAT team and Captain White, and we will be discussing some things that may need to be changed on Saturday. So that training will be on Saturday at the school to be determined.
So are you recommending that we just table this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, so we will table the MOU.
Dr. Goodwin,
Yes.
since we're going to table it, I wonder if this is the place to add anything in there around the enforcement of the speed zones and the maintenance of signage and all of that that's been an issue a couple of times that's come up this year.
Right. Mr. Chair, Dr. Shannon, what you thinking?
I mean, I think it's worth us bringing it up to the sheriff's department.
Because I think we did a separate document for that last year when they put in the cameras. So it feels like it could be included in a single memorandum of understanding, and that would also be a good opportunity to talk about, make sure that we have maintenance and costs and all of those kind of things addressed for that within this. I don't want to delay the good services that are provided and for safety, but it might be a good way to consolidate some documents and make sure we have one understanding versus two.
So since we're not going to vote on it until September, hopefully you can incorporate information in this agreement about signage and
Yes, ma'am.
lights and who does what.
Yes, ma'am. I will talk to Lieutenant Fuller about that also. He'll be at the training also.
Okay.
Bill, I know the superintendent is all the intentions of notifying us whenever there's a situation plus any incident. Right off the bat, that very first contact just stated that there was a situation. Get into the particulars, because I know you'll be examining, and investigating. So we as board members should maybe not expect a whole conclusion like that.
Yeah, so it could just be a general statement to board members, we don't need all particulars. In that first communication. Or we shouldn't expect a bunch of particulars in that first communication. Thank you for that comment. So we will table the MOU, board clerk, and it will be as a action item for our September meeting. And Mr. Charity and Dr. Shannon have both taken notes about including information about who maintains lights and signage and that kind of stuff in this same MOU.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're down to item F, which is the VSBA Policy Services Agreement. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, so included in your packet is a copy of the Policy Services Agreement from VSBA, and the cost of the services in which they are providing policies for us is $2,500. And I do recommend that we continue to partner with VSBA regarding updating our policies.
Any questions, Dr. Shannon, concerning the VSBA policy agreement?
I move that we move forward with the policy agreement.
I have a motion by Ms. Bond, a second by Mr. Smith, to approve the VSBA policy agreement for the 25-26 school year. Any discussion on the motion?
This is separate from what we voted on for the
Yes.
but this is in addition to it.
It is, yes.
So then all in favor of approving the VSBA policy services agreement, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. So we are down to item G, which is the Special Education Advisory Committee members and volunteers. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, so, excuse me, before you have a list of members of the Special Education Advisory Committee, and this committee consists of parents, community members, employees. And the purpose of the committee is to advise the local school division on the needs of children with disabilities. And it is a requirement, and Dr. Taylor will be coming forward to explain the special education regulations. And so if you have any questions or concerns regarding some of the members here, do let us know. We also do have a board member who serves as a representative on this committee, and that board member is Ms. Oris Lane.
Okay, so we do need, again, this is an action item. And you can see that
the meeting dates are listed, and it's a standing Zoom link. So you'll see the dates of the meetings have already been established, as well as the standing Zoom link. And all meetings are open to the public. Anyone can attend.
I move that we accept the membership and the meeting schedule as presented.
Second.
So we have a motion by Mr. Rogers, a second by Ms. Bond. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The next item is the local procedure for implementation of special education regulations. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, so you do have a copy of the procedures, and the purpose of the procedures is, for one, to ensure that we have equitable access for all of the students with disabilities, and so that parents will have something tangible and will be aware of our special education process, and that they'll be able to to follow the process through based on the manual. Dr. Taylor is coming forward, and she does have a brief presentation regarding the procedures and policies manual. Thank you, Dr. Taylor.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Dr. Goodwin, Ms. Lane, board members, and community. Dr. Harris Muhammad, I don't know what you did to this microphone, but okay. So I can't see, so I'll be flipping my papers, okay? So the local procedures and policy plan is adopted from the Virginia state regulations. So Virginia does have regulations, and of course, special education is federal, so they have regulations as well. The overview, this is what's in the plan. The child find, we're gonna talk about evaluation and reevaluation, the individualized education plan or the IEP, surrogate parents, screening and referrals, eligibility determination, parental rights and safeguards, and monitoring and compliance. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't click. Okay, next we just have the vision and the mission of Southampton County Public Schools and the division goals. Okay, so getting into the meat. Child find is something that we're required to do. It's an active program to actually look for the students that may have disabilities. And this is for children aged birth all the way to 21 years old. And it includes children who are homeless in private schools or incarcerated. We do coordinate with Western Tidewater Community Service Board and Head Start for Part C to Part B. Part C is our infants and toddlers, and Part B is when they enter school. Screenings that we're required to do are vision, hearing, scoliosis, speech, language, and motor skills. So at the beginning of every school year, my related service specialist, who is Dr. Hollander, she gets with the schools and we conduct these screenings. The teachers do the speech language themselves, but some of the things the actual nurse does. We have school-based team referrals, and they determine if they actually need to go through for evaluation. So if they see something in those screenings, they will submit the paperwork to my office for evaluation. And of course, we have to have parental consent to actually do the formal evaluation. Evaluation and reevaluation. Initial evaluation has to be completed within 65 business days. So once we receive, once the parent signs at the school level, we have 65 business days to actually complete the evaluation, which is why I always tell my teachers get it in as soon as possible. Reevaluations occur every 3 years, so if they actually are qualified, and then they have an IEP, we are obligated to reevaluate every 3 years. And what reevaluation looks like is different because we don't have to actually go through all the tests again. We could just say that the child continues to exhibit those behaviors or those disabilities or whatever it is, and we can say that they're okay for another 3 years. And we strive to have our evaluation reports at least 2 days before eligibility meetings, and parents can request that up to 2 days before. So determining eligibility, the decision is made by a multidisciplinary team, which includes the parent. It has to be individualized and evidence-based. And it cannot be solely based on lack of instruction or limited English proficiency. We do see students that come in, especially early age, and parents are concerned about them not grasping the language, but that's not the basis for a disability, not in school anyhow. It also includes specific procedures for identifying learning disabilities. The IEP is developed annually by a team of parents, teachers, and specialists. And we can actually amend the IEP without parental consent, without a meeting with parental consent. So we don't have to hold meetings anymore to do the addendums. Placement decisions must align with our least restrictive environment guidelines. So students must be served on the continuum of services in their least restrictive environment. And the environment can range from hospitalized or residential to an inclusion classroom, or even no services besides consultation. Parental rights and safeguards. We have to do a prior written notice at the end of every IEP, every addendum, every meeting that we have with parents, and we have to give that notice to parents within 5 business days after we make the decision. And the prior written notice says things like what was considered, what was not considered, what was brought up and not considered, what type of measures that you use to actually come into this decision. We also provide procedure safeguards. They're provided annually and upon referral, complaint, or disciplinary change. So we have to offer it to the parents. Most parents say, I've had 10 of these given to me, I don't want it. But we offer it and then we make notation that they did not want it. We do permit audio recordings, but we cannot do video recordings, and that's according to the state guidelines. Surrogate parents. So surrogate parents are appointed when the child has no legal guardian. And also it can be when the legal guardian feels that he or she are not understanding the actual materials or the disability. You can appoint a surrogate. We are responsible for choosing the surrogates, and I did put out notice. So currently we have 2 surrogates. No one has been used yet, but we do have 2 surrogates for parents that are struggling. Of course, advocates are always welcome as well. The transfer students have to have an IEP in place within 30 days. So any child that comes in must have an IEP within 30 days. And that looks differently. So for those students that come in already with an IEP from a state agency, any LEA in the state of Virginia, we can actually accept that IEP and go with that one as permitted, or we can still accept it and rewrite it on our forms, which is what we do most of the time. We just rewrite it so they can be a Virginia IEP for our students, for our teachers, and everyone else. So if a child comes in from out of state, what we do is we do an interim IEP, which pretty much is a transfer of services, and they're agreeing to implement their IEP that they had from the state before while we review the records. So we will have a meeting again within 30 days to make sure that child gets a Virginia IEP. Monitoring and compliance. I do have monthly meetings with my building, and it says lead teachers here, but I actually have it with all the teachers. So all the teachers come together at least once a month at every school with myself, my specialist, and my coordinator, and we meet about compliance. We track timelines and due dates for evaluation and IEPs just to make sure that we're on track. And sometimes we're not, but we get back on track. It's an ongoing review and ensures alignment with the state regulations. Also, we're required to address disproportionality. So VDOE actually comes up with this through our state performance plan, and they have a formula, and we have before in the past been disproportionality with students that are white. Autism is actually done by subgroup. So that group is a huge group that we get a lot of this on. So we're identifying disproportionality with students with autism that are white. We can also have to revise policies if we do have disproportionality, and we have to publicly report the changes that we've made in the policies. All right, so summary, we have to commit to an education of students with disabilities being inclusive, equitable, and compliant. We love parental involvement, and we actually collaborate with the schools and teachers and parents in the community and whoever else is involved in helping us make decisions for students with disabilities. Are there any questions?
With the disproportionality, are we identified as CCEIS?
No. That's coordinated early intervention services, and it means that we are so disproportionate that the State Department requires us to set aside an amount. Since I've been here, we have not had CEIS, so that's a good thing. Any other questions?
Additional questions for Dr. Taylor or Dr. Shannon? So we do need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is that Ms. Lane? Got a motion by Ms. Lane?
Second.
A second by Ms. King. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you. We're down to item I, which is the use of facilities. Dr. Shannon.
Sure, thank you. Great work, Dr. Taylor. Use of facilities. The first use of facilities request comes from Mr. Kashif Carter, and he's with Speak Life, and he's requesting to utilize the auditorium at the high school for the Western Tidewater pageant. The event is October the 18th, and it's from 12 o'clock p.m. until 4 o'clock p.m. He will not charge any admission fees, and he is requesting that we waive the fees. And you know, we normally will reduce the fees because you know he's a nonprofit. His organization, Speak Life, is a nonprofit, and so the original cost would be $580, and the reduced cost is $58 for him. The next item is down the middle.
Let's want to vote on Mr. Carter's request.
I move that we approve the use of the facilities for those people like that.
Okay, we have a motion by Dr. Tindall, second by Mr. Scott. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, now we have a second one.
All right, the next item comes from Mr. Darnell Lee, and he's with Down the Middle Foundation. He is requesting the use of Riverdale's baseball field from Monday through Saturday, from August the 18th of this year until November the 3rd of this year. That ends up being about 67 days, and for those 67 days, it will cost him $16,750. But because of the discount that the school board provides, he will only have to pay $1,675 for those 67 days.
Motion to approve.
I do have a question on that though. I thought in the past if it's an outdoor facility and it would not require us to have staff present, janitorial services, then I think in the past for outdoor, we waived that fee. Completely waived it. I mean, what he's doing is actually helping to provide athletics for our youth, and the county doesn't provide facilities. I think it's a great idea. I would make a motion that we approve it, we'll waive this fee completely.
I think we got two things going on. One thing is, do we want to waive the entire fee? I guess that's the question that's before us. So we want to waive the entire fee, or not. So that's the, Dr. Tindall, I think, were you about to say something? Huh?
No, I was gonna agree that, I mean, I see Ms. Bond's point, if it's outside and it's not gonna require any of our staff to do anything, then I agree with it.
We'd have to have anybody present.
I wouldn't say that we have to have anyone present, but, you know, it's a good practice to have someone present. He does have insurance, you know, so I have insurance. I mean, if something happens, you know.
And I think originally there was a letter attached to our board docs from him, and I think in that he offered to help maintain the field or do upkeep and things like that. So I mean, I think he's gonna be a good steward of the field as well. So I just think because he's doing it to help our youth, I like the way he thinks.
So then would you put that in form of a motion? Ms. Bond.
I make a motion that we approve it and waive the fee.
So Ms. Bond is making a motion that we waive the fee for Down the Middle Foundation to use the Riverdale baseball field from August until November, which is 67 days. Who did the second? Mr. Scott did the second. Any discussion on the motion? Yes.
His reason, he says he serves several students in Southampton County. How does he serve students?
He's just saying students on, Southampton County students on their team. I think that's what he means, right? The Southampton County students.
That's what it's called. Providing the opportunity for athletics. Okay, that's right.
It's also feeders to our athletic program.
And it just helps promote healthy behaviors.
So, you know, as long as, you know, we're not obligating our staff, and as long as the insurance says that we're not liable for anything that happens, is that the way it goes, Dr. Shannon?
I'm not a lawyer, but,
What's your thinking?
My thinking is, I mean, I do think that because he has insurance, that is covered, but I would also like to run it by the attorney. And Ms. Bond seems to remember in years past us not requiring anyone to be present, you know, and so, or requiring that they pay a fee if it's an outdoor event. I mean, if that has been the precedence, then, you know, I don't think
Is that your memory as precedent?
I really don't remember that. So we can definitely table it if we need to research it and go back and see what we've done in years past.
That stipulation that it is not going to call the father or whatever.
And he doesn't start until, well, he wants to start next week, he wants to start next Monday, so.
So we can approve it, given, no adverse information from the attorney.
Okay.
Can we amend your motion that way?
So I'll amend my motion to say that I'd like for us to approve it, and we will check with the attorney to see if we can waive the fee completely. If we cannot, then we will proceed to reduce the fee that we have originally set.
Thank you.
Okay. And there was a motion by Ms. Vaughn and a second by Mr. Scott, and I won't try to repeat it. But any further discussion on the motion? So all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. So we're down to superintendent's report. So Dr. Shannon, your first report has to do with instruction.
Yes, so, first report, does involve instruction. It's going to just provide a comprehensive overview of the current state of instruction in our school division and what our plans are moving forward for professional development, some of our dates to remember, and a lot of the things that we have done this summer. I think you all requested that we provide a second summer school update because the last one was not all-inclusive. So we're going to do that at this time as well. Thank you, Ms. Gillette, for coming to.
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Goodwin, Dr. Shannon, board members, and all present. It's a pleasure to be with you tonight. As Dr. Shannon said, I do have the August instruction report, and as she talked about, we do updates for summer school, talk about new teacher orientation, the PD, Virginia Literacy Act Canvas course updates, and dates to remember. So the last meeting, we talked about why some of our students had not attended summer school. And so all of our schools came together and we did a chart of some reasons why we did not have enrollment as we did in the past. So as you can see, parents did not want their students to attend due to not passing to the next grade level. They were not going to pass, so the parent did not want to send them. We had 4 of those. Families said they would be on vacation. We had 22. There was joint custody and student would not be in the area. That was 7. We had 95 students. The parents did not want them to attend summer school. They declined the invitation. We had 7 move. We had out-of-district students who had problems with transportation. We had 10 of those. The parents' work schedule conflicted. That was 4. They attended another camp or they had a job. That was 11. We had 8 with no response. And this is from the high school. We did have 35 that were going to be recommended for summer school. They were on the list, but they were able to complete coursework or attendance before the end of school, and there were 35 of those. So these are specific reasons why students did not attend summer school. And this is from K through 12. Now I do have some highlights, very positive. We had a great summer school. We had our Virtual Virginia students, all 16 students passed the Virtual Virginia course. We had 34 of our 45 high school SOL tests were passed. 15 of those were passed advanced.
That's huge.
4 out of 5 of our middle school students, the ones that took the advanced classes, passed their SOL test. We had 85% of our middle school students were promoted, and 90% of our elementary students demonstrated growth in math and reading on the agenda. We also, for our summer school, we had our STEM camp that Ms. Rachel Bowe headed up, and we had 2 camps. One was for rising 4th and 5th graders, and one for rising 6th and 7th graders. It was through a grant through Longwood University, and they focused on all types of robotics, as you can see, Spiro, Lego, Spike, Hibots. Root robots, and it culminated in a ending where parents and the school's faculty and anyone that wanted to attend came to see students demonstrate their knowledge they had learned. New teacher orientation, believe it or not, that is next week. We're so excited. The 18th and 19th will be here with new teachers in the Commons from 8 to 3:30, and we'll be talking about building relationships. We'll be talking about our online programs and access through Clever, so they're able to work around all of our programs. That includes supplemental materials. We'll talk about classroom management, technology with Bill, and we'll have an overview of the VDU website and finding the SOLs. Also, we're going to do something a little different this year. We're going to break out into different sections where we have elementary and secondary. So some of our themes will be more related towards secondary as opposed to elementary. And then everybody, all the teachers come back on the 20th. And that Wednesday, you'll see some, this is not all, this is just some of what we're doing. We'll have our VALS training, balanced assessment plans, we'll have the gifted referral process, along with the SPED process, referral process. We'll be looking at our math training with math space for secondary, KIDM for elementary, and also our social emotional, our active shooter training, that goes with Navigate, with Mr. Charity. So we'll have smartboard training. So lots of things for our teachers to experience. On that Friday, I'm going backwards. On that Friday, we'll have grade level and content meetings where they'll talk about curriculum, their pacing, again, looking at their assessment and balanced assessment plans. We'll also include special ed teachers, reading specialist counselors, principals, and also our virtual coaches. Also, at the last meeting, we talked about the Virginia Literacy Act with our Canvas courses, and I do have an update for you. We have a total of 112 teachers on this list, and currently we have 79 of the 112 that have completed the courses. They have until September 1st to finish, and you can see the list here. Now, when it says the 6 through 8 content teachers and 6 through 8 ELA teachers, it's new for them this year. So this is new for them as far as the K through 5, they had done that last year. And then finally, our dates to remember, and we talked about new teacher orientation and PD. Convocation will be on the 25th, that Monday at 8 o'clock. And then we have our open houses. Our elementary open house will be for all elementary schools on the 28th from 3 to 6. We'll have our middle school open house, which does include our 6th grade orientation and also our VLA kickoff for the middle school. That is the 27th. Our senior open house will be August the 20th from 4 to 6, and freshman open house on the 25th, followed by the high school open house on the 26th, both 4 to 6 p.m. Do you have any questions this evening?
It might not be a question you can answer, but what kind, during this school, the preschool conference?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of sessions do you provide for school nurses and school security officers? How do they become a part of this training for these teams?
They actually have the head nurse, she does training with her staff, and Mr. Charity does training with his security staff as well.
Okay. So it would be good, and I think it would be good for them to see themselves as part of the team. So, to the extent possible, I think it would be good to invite them to some of those sessions if they, see something up there that is of interest to them.
Absolutely.
Because they might want to know about trauma-informed, relationships.
Because we always say, and I know you've said it in the past, it starts from the bus driver feeding the kids in the morning, going through the cafeteria land. It takes everybody.
Right, yeah.
Children.
Yeah. But that was just mine.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Mr. That I would really appreciate. I know the board appreciates that you have gathered all this information from some school updates as well as some school highlights. I know that was tedious.
Oh, I do it. Do what I'm told. I'm good and studious. And I do have help from my team, of course. And the principals are amazing. I ask them for information and they're on it. So just like it takes everybody to, grow the child, it takes all of us as a team to grow as well. So I appreciate all of that, all of my team too. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments about that? Great work. Thank you. So the next superintendent's report is maintenance and transportation.
Yes, so we do have our maintenance and transportation report, but as you're coming, that's fine. I also think we have In addition to Dr. Melby, I think we have Mr. Mark Jones, if I'm not mistaken. Is he here?
Yeah.
All right, he is here, and this is the gentleman who is going to assist with, well, actually, he's responsible for the erection of our health building. So, he's here, and Mr. Melby, come on up, please.
That's all Mark.
Well, thank you. My name is Mark Jones. I'm with Rebel Builders, and we've been awarded the contract to build your student health and education building and field house, whatever, which basically consists of a 62 by 90 building. It has 2 classrooms, restroom facilities, a little concession area, and then a pretty large multi-purpose room located out by the tennis courts and the baseball field. So with that being awarded to us, week before last, one of the kind of the procedure that happens from here is the first thing we do is order the pre-engineered metal building, which we did week before last. And we wait to get the reactions from them that we give to an independent engineer that does the foundation design. While that's going on, we do the plumbing, mechanical, and HVAC design. And all that's kind of we've kind of preliminary done all that. So we're looking at probably a process of, at the earliest, probably end of September, but sometime hopefully middle of October, we'll have a complete set of plans that we can get a building permit and we can start construction. Y'all already had in place a site plan. There may be a small modification to that, which I understand will be able to be done. And I think you followed up with the Timmons group on that y'all hired to do the site plan. So that, because this building's footprint's a little bit bigger than what they had originally got approved. So that's kind of what we put in motion. He also said, that a little bit about us. We're from Murfreesboro. We build primarily in southeastern Virginia and northeastern North Carolina, kind of a small company that's been around since the 60s. Mr. Rella started the company back then. His son and myself kind of came in the 80s, and now his son and my son are kind of going on, and I'm knocking on the door to hang up the saddle. But anyhow, we've been around for a while. We're just down the road, and we really appreciate the opportunity.
Any questions about the building that we're excited about? And I think, Mr. Rogers, you were about to say something.
No, I was just messing with my nameplate. But I'll take it as an opportunity to say thank you to Dr. Melby for staying persistent after making sure that we found a good company to take care of us and get this put together. We've had a couple of side conversations, Ms. Bunn and myself with Dr. Melby, to make sure that we had things moving along, and finding that we had everything in order to really get this taken care of before end of the year, hopefully, was really good news. So yeah, I'm excited that we'll finally get to see this thing go up and maybe be in it before it's too cold outside.
Probably hope to have heated.
Yeah.
Once we start construction, we're looking at probably about a 4-month, depending on how things go and how well it goes, to 6 months. So we won't, it's still going to be a little while, a little bit of process.
I'm from northwestern Pennsylvania. It never actually gets cold here.
You're right, and that's a good site out there, so we should be okay. I'm not too worried about it. Here's just another copy. We made a slight change to the entrance of the bathroom. I think it's an improvement. We put the water fountain back, and other than that, it's pretty much what you've already seen. So, anybody have any questions?
I think Ms. Bunn had a comment.
I was just gonna say, I'm happy that we're working with a local company as well, so it's nice to have someone that's right down the road. Of course, that means if we have any issues, we can pick up the phone and be here in 20 minutes.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, so we're happy.
Any other questions or comments about the building that we're excited about? Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate your comment.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. We appreciate it. Dr. Miller?
All right, yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right, so that was, took away one of my big exciting bullet points. Thank you.
But Dr. Goodwin, Dr. Shannon board for this month, just a few little updates, because summertime is nonstop. So there's a lot of stuff going on. This is one of the last spots to get the floors done, so they've been stripping in here the last few days to get this prepped and ready to go to be resurfaced. And it's ongoing at all locations right now. As Mr. Charity said, the safety fencing and bollards have been installed at all, 4 out of the 6 locations. Nottaway in the high school, they did not have any fencing in theirs. The high school kind of gets lumped in a little bit with the middle school, with the fencing here. But all of that has been put up, and Mr. Jones took that one there. More additional details, so it is that, like we talked about last time, the 4 to 6 weeks to get him off the ground and moving, and then another 10 to 12 weeks following that approval. So that's that 4 to 6 month total time frame to get it all done. But I kind of like, if we could have a board meeting out there in January or February, that'd be kind of cool. Not cool temperature-wise. All right. All vehicles throughout our fleet have gone through their summertime inspections. The menus, bus routes, and bus route times are all being worked on, and they'll be ready to go so we can get them out to the public ahead of time and ready to go for open houses and all of that. Summer school by the numbers. We did about 2,700 breakfasts total throughout the division, and then we did about 3,000 lunches during summer school. Transportation-wise, at the elementary level, it was 82 students. At the secondary, it was 89. And then going outside of the county, we have extended school year for our day treatment facilities at CSEP, Keys Academy, and Plan B. And so those places had 14, 3, and 8 students respectively. And then just some quick pictures of the bollards that are out front of the middle school. And then the security fencing in the back at the middle school, giving it more of a residential feel than it is with the chain link would kind of pose. Any questions? So sorry. I know you're still.
Last month you told us that Hunterdale, you were working on Hunterdale to make it ready for the fall. Will we be able to use that facility?
Yes, we're progressing on that. Talked with Mr. Charity today about that, and we're making steps and strides to make it so that it's right. And checking with the state on the food service piece for kids that'll be there, or how we have to deliver, how we have to count. There's all sorts of different regulations that we have to do where you can't just throw it at them. Here you go. We have to follow our offer versus serve, so we're trying to figure out, can we take their order in the morning, build the meal, and then deliver it that way, because we have to meet all those components. And so we're just checking with the state to make sure we're in line with all of those things.
So when school starts, will students in Fresh Start go to the Fresh Start Center? Will they go?
Somebody sneezed.
Say again?
Somebody sneezed, that's what stopped everything.
Oh, okay. Now I thought you were giving me an answer.
And that's not up to me to make that determination if students will go there. I don't know the population that would go there, but we're going to do everything we can to make sure that the building is set and ready to go if there are students to go to there the first day of school.
I just remember from the discipline committee, there were some students who needed to start the school year in Fresh Start. And I didn't know if they would be coming to the high school like they did last year and doing, moving our back, or the Fresh Start building would be ready first day of school.
There will be educational sites ready for them, space ready for them at Fresh Start to begin the school year.
And you can tell us next month what that site is.
Well, the classrooms within Hunterdale Elementary that Mr. Charity has chosen, they are working on them to make sure that they are up to par and moving the furniture, making sure that all the technology pieces are in line, the door swipes, the telephone. I know Bill's got the internet rolling over there, so all of those pieces are falling into place to make sure that it is correctly put together for them to be occupants.
Any additional questions or comments? Again, who's the administrator at Fresh Start? I think that's it.
Hi, thank you. Mr. Charity has his hand raised. So normally it is is, Mr. Charity, but, we're in talks about that because he is over security. So again, we're in talks about it.
Additional questions or comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shannon.
Yes, ma'am.
The next item is the Human Resources Report, Dr. Shannon.
Yes, so, the board has requested that we include, some additional reports, and so, we complied, and the Human Resources Report is one of those reports that the board has requested. And, Ms. Hutchinson, would you approach the podium, please? She's our, coordinator of Human Resources.
You remember, at our meeting last month, we decided that we would do a Human Resources Report, at the beginning of, I think we said in August and in January, so this is the August, Human Resources Report that we agreed we would receive.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, board members, Dr. Shannon, and to our esteemed community who are joining us both in person and virtually. I am presenting to you tonight the vacancies as of today. Capron Elementary, we have one special education paraprofessional, and I do have to say that position was filled as of 5 o'clock this afternoon. But, ooh, don't get excited. And she called and said, after she talked to her husband and did some reflection, that the salary was too low. So that's why you see this position listed. Meharry, let's get excited, has no vacancies. Yes. So Ms. Fowler worked with me even while she was on break, and we got some amazing things done. So thank you, Ms. Fowler. Nottaway Elementary School, again, we had a school secretary secured, doing great. Talked to her husband, evaluated her bills, called back and said, I'm sorry, the salary's too low. So we lost that person. We are still in need of a kindergarten teacher at Riverdale. We are in need of 4 special education teachers, and if anybody has any suggestions, I will happily, I see your face, I will happily take it. And we need 2 specialized paraprofessionals at Riverdale. At Southampton Middle, we have a 7th grade math pre-algebra position open, but I am excited to say that we will be interviewing someone who holds a doctorate for that position tomorrow. Math 6 is also available at the middle school. We need 2 special education teachers. My quest still stands for that. Computer technology teacher. Great story about a reading specialist. Had a young lady, doctorate. She wanted to work in a rural school division, was super excited to join us when I called her. And she called me back an hour later and said Richmond City offered her $30,000 more. So out the window went working for a small rural school division. Poor Ms. Lorraine almost had a fit. 7th grade social studies teacher, we are in need of that position being filled as well. At Southampton High School, we need 2 special education teachers. We need a business and finance teacher, and we do have a candidate who we will be interviewing for that position. We need an ISI facilitator, and we need 1 cafeteria assistant, someone to work in the cafeteria to support the manager and assistant manager. At central office, we are seeking a speech and language pathologist. Now, we do currently contract for that position, but we are always interested in filling that position with Southampton County Public Schools employees. And we are also seeking an educational diagnostician. Any questions?
Questions, comments for Dr. Shannon?
Are we offering sign-on bonuses for the hard-to-fill positions, like special education in the math?
Not currently.
Grant money can fund that, title share.
Do we currently have IT participants?
We do. We do have IT participants. We have 3 who are deeply in it, who are about to get some things taken care of. And we do have some candidates who will be joining us who are also doing iTeach. We have one teacher who has gotten her license through iTeach. She has an iTeach license, so we're moving through well. They're invested in iTeach.
And are we able to offer any of them the local one-year license?
We have offered some, the local one-year license, yes ma'am.
Okay.
We have, yes ma'am. Thank you for asking.
And then the vacancies that we have, does this include like the classes last year that were virtual, or do we still have virtual classes in addition to the vacancies?
We do have some virtual classes, but I am happy to say that we did eliminate the civics class at the middle school. That was virtual last year, and we have hired 2 teachers to teach that class, so we did get to eliminate one of them, and it's always the goal to work to eliminate those classes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I just wondered if they were,
Yes, ma'am.
on here or still.
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
know off the top of your head how many we still have that are?
We have 6 classes total, 3 subjects.
Just at the middle school, or that's middle school and high school?
That is middle school and high school.
Additional questions, comments?
I see that, you know, the special education teacher, you made the plea, right, to, if we have any leads, I know that's one of the hardest positions to fill across the state. I mean, it's pretty well known, that's one of the more difficult areas to fill.
Yes, sir.
Are there any specific tools that you think would be helpful for you in filling those positions that we can talk about and figure out a way to give you those tools? I don't know, is it money, is it advertising, is it like, you just need us to go out and crawl around?
I'll take the first choice for 100, Alex.
Okay, yeah, well, so it's money, and is that salary money, is it bonus money? I mean, so if you've had interviews and you've lost some of those candidates, I heard about the other couple positions. I'm just curious, where do we fall short, or in that area, like other divisions are? What would be most helpful to you? Do you think would it be a bonus? Would it be additional salary things that we need to advocate for? I don't know that we have the answer because I don't know that we've got the funds this year, but I think it's important for us to understand that and how the budget decisions that we've been faced with, and we saw this in the proposed budget that was put forward, there were a number of special education additions in that ultimately ended up being cut because we weren't funded at the amount that we requested. So where do you see that being most helpful to you? Is it salary, is it bonuses, is it something else?
It's definitely salary.
Okay.
That is a definite starting point. And I do have to say that we do have grant money, and we have utilized grant money to pay for classes, but sometimes our teachers have a problem paying for classes up front. So if I do have someone who may be interested in taking that one special education law class that's needed to procure a provisional license, they say, you know, Ms. Anderson, I don't have the money up front. So that's also, that has been a hindrance with 2 people that I've talked to thus far. So, but salary is primary. And because the volume of work that special education has to do is increased over a regular teacher, although everybody's workload is tremendous, those of us who support students. But when you compare having to have IEP meetings and all the things that we have to do, the volume of work and the pay is.
So do we reimburse for that class after it's been taken? So you said up front
As long as funds are available, yes, sir, we will reimburse.
This is probably more for you, Dr. Shannon. If you don't have the answer, I understand this question. If the funds are available, is there a way that we can set an arrangement with those teachers to say, we'll fund the class proactively, and if you don't pass it, then you owe it back to us, or if you don't complete it, you owe it back to us, but then we could resolve that piece. That seems like a small win there, but I'm not sure what we've got set aside in the budget to reimburse for those classes this year.
So I honestly don't see that as a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, especially, you know, right now she's just stating 2 teachers, and for them to receive the special education provisional license, it's just 1 class. And that's one of our our biggest vacancy areas is special education across the school division. So if we paid for the one class up front, I mean, I don't see it as being, you know, cost prohibitive for us to be able to do so. The main thing is for them to remain with us at least, you know, for the 1 year after they get, you know, after we pay it. That's one of the reasons why we decided we would do it on a reimbursable, you know, case, because we felt like if they had skin in the game up front and they passed the class, then, you know, we would reimburse them, you know, and then oftentimes when we reimburse them, they have stayed with us at least, you know, the 1 year, what have you, and then, you know, after that, they usually move on. But again, to answer your question, I don't see a problem with that.
Have we?
I was just gonna ask, do we need to take action for you to be able to do that up front, or is that something that you feel like you've got authority to do?
So we actually have, like a handbook that speaks to what we do when it comes to like reimbursement, and we don't have in that handbook it written for us to pay for something up front. So it would be nice if you all did take action, then, you know, then we can just kind of add it to the handbook, or at least give us, you know, authority to do so.
And so is that something that you would want to take and look at and bring it back to us next month to say, yeah, we did look at it, we want to do it, or do you feel okay saying?
I'm comfortable saying that because, you know, we know which colleges they go to get these done, and it's really, you know, it's not cost prohibitive for us. It really isn't.
So I think what I hear you saying is that we could pay for one class up front for teachers in hard to fill areas. One, if the teachers need a single course or provisional license, we can pay for that class up front, and then the teacher will reimburse us. Is that what we're saying, or we're saying that we'll just give it to them? Which we're saying, we'll just pay for it, or we're saying we'll pay for it and they'll reimburse us?
Well, I think
We were paying for it before. Yeah.
Reimbursement is if they pay for it, we reimburse them.
No, but I'm saying if we pay for it, they're gonna pay us back, or are we saying we just give them that class?
Right.
So, you know, so I was trying to clarify what it is we're trying to do.
We should have some language to say, that you will be with us for at least 2 years.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna suggest, is some kind of agreement that says, you know, just, we're willing to pay for this upon the stipulation that you will remain with us for a year, 2 years, however much, you know, and that they understand that if they do not stay, then they owe us back a prorated amount for that class.
We want to give Dr. Shannon time to bring this back to us in writing next month, so we can look at it.
That kind of language.
Dr. Shannon, can you draft something and bring it for us to look at next month, as opposed to taking action on something when I'm not sure we're all seeing the same thing?
And you talk about next month, you talk about right now too.
Right. Well, she said she didn't see a problem with it, but I sort of hate to take action on something that's not in writing. But she said she sees no problem with it, so we could make it retroactive. I mean, so if there's somebody she wants to hire, then just be one class, I think.
I think for a hard to fill position right now that we needed for this year, we could say we give her the leeway to take action prior to the next board meeting, and then at the next board meeting, we would then look at what the policy should come.
Perfect.
Right.
That's perfect, because it'll take them about 6 weeks to complete the class. And so in 6 weeks, we'll have a teacher that has a provisional license. And if I wait until next month, then that pushes it on down, you know.
Right. So, yeah, I think right now during the hiring process that we need to act on.
Okay, thank you.
So then we're giving the superintendent the authority to pay for students to be, for staff to be provisionally licensed.
One class. Yes, one class.
One class.
Have we looked at the possibility of using that Title II funding to do the same thing for IT? The only reason, well, I asked for a couple of reasons. there are other local divisions who do that, and require the same kind of agreement where the staff member has to remain with the division for 3 years after they become licensed. And if not, then they pay back, that prorated amount. And the way that the iTeach program works, if the division is paying for it and they choose to go somewhere else, they have to start over in iTeach. If the individual is paying for it, they can go somewhere else and continue in iTeach. So if our division was paying for it, at least it would give them a little bit more, like you said, skin in the game to stay with us as opposed to having to go somewhere and start over again. So.
Title II, Title IV money can be used for recruiting and retention of highly qualified teachers, and it's hard to fill positions. A lot of times bonuses are a big attraction.
Yeah.
So are we agreed in terms of what we're going to do? The Dr. Shell give us something in writing in September, but in the meantime, she has the authority to pay in advance for one class so the person might feel that.
Especially if you have a lot of candidates like that.
I'm sorry.
You have a lot of candidates like that.
Who have finance? Oh, the one class is offered for the special education teachers that would make them licensure eligible upon completion of the class. So that is the, and as you see, that is the area that we're suffering with. So yes, they can do that in that area. How many vacancies do I have to say?
You have 5, 6.
We just need that one class.
Oh, how many? I have 3 people that I have been talking to who are in that situation, who would like to take the class but don't have the funding. There are other people who are taking the class. We talk to them and say, hey, what do you think about taking the class? You can secure a license, and they've enrolled and off and running. So it just depends. But right now we have 3 people in that situation.
Otherwise, the position that you presented to us, otherwise you have everyone in place.
Other than what's here.
Other than what's here.
Oh, yes. It's exciting.
I have one other thought, and I know you were mentioning some of the positions that you offer, but then they didn't accept based on that. And I think as we go into budget season, it's easy for us to say, we know that our pay scale is below other people, and it makes it more challenging for us. I think if there's some way that maybe during this time, like looking at the data moving forward, we can kind of track for that, so that when we go to budget season, we can say we had, 18 positions that were willing to come here, but then did not because of salary. And I think we need to go as hard to present that reality so that we can present a better case for why we need to raise our salary.
Yes, ma'am, we can add that slot. We have a spreadsheet that we use, so I can add a line. Yes, ma'am, happy to do that.
And then that would be great, because then you have a spreadsheet that will give you some good data. And this is the problem with our kids.
To that point, resignations that are a result of pay, so those that resign their position and indicate pay is the primary reason for leaving the district, that would be awesome to track that. It would give you the full side of the scale.
Yes, we are excited to be using an exit interview of electronic exit interview now. So we can track it, it can go straight to the spreadsheet, and we have the information that we available to us.
Easier work.
Yes, we're thinking smarter, and HR has a lot to do.
Makes the paper a lot.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Additional comments? Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to pay up front. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Last item. The next item is the superintendent's professional development and travel. Shannon.
Yes, so last week I had the opportunity to travel to Roanoke to participate in professional development. The professional development that I participated in was the Chancellor's Retreat, and it was a part of the BCCS system. And Dr. Doré, of course, is the chancellor. I was accompanied by, I accompanied Dr. McCrae, as well as other staff members from Camp Community College and another board member. And some of the things that we talked about while we were at professional development was, one of them that I really liked was keeping the promise to educators. You know, they talked about their mission, vision, goals, strategic plans, and what have you, but they fashioned it in a form of a promise. You know, and it being a promise that they made to educators or students or what have you, and they wanted to make sure that they fulfilled that promise. Another thing that we talked about in depth was dual enrollment, dual credit, and the fact that although it's free to our students, it's really not free, it's not at no cost. You know, someone is having to absorb the cost of dual enrollment, dual credit. And then we talked about the CTE and workforce demand, and just trying to make sure that we align what we're doing in school with what they want at the community college level, and making sure that that too is aligned with what the industry needs. And so we talked about, you know, that at length. And then one of the things that they talked about big time was AI, and us just embracing AI, and, you know, for us to just stop fighting against it. And how can we allow students to be able to use AI, but use it responsibly, and be able to, you know, document their use of AI. And of course, you know, that was a spirited discussion, but they talked about that as well. And just making sure that we move at the speed of industry, and talked about how quickly industry is just changing, and wanting to ensure that, you know, colleges as well as other CTE programs, that we're all just aware of the speed of industry, and that we're moving at that speed. So I appreciated the opportunity to be able to participate in the professional development, and you know, I feel like I learned a lot, so thank you.
Any upcoming announcements?
Most of the upcoming announcements, Ms. Gillette has already gone over, but I can restate them. And that is that on the 18th and 19th of August, we'll have new teacher training days. The board is usually present the first morning at 8 o'clock, which is going to be Monday, August 18th. And then on August 20th, we have senior night open house from 4 until 6. The 20th through the 22nd, those are pre-service days in orientation, training, team building for our teachers, and it'll start at 8 o'clock. We have convocation on August the 25th, and she has 8:30 listed, but we'll say 8 o'clock. Freshman open house is on August the 25th from 4 until 6. The 25th through the 28th, we have teacher work days, and this is classroom setup, curriculum planning, and such. And this is for the middle school from 9 until 3. August the 26th, Southampton High School will have open house for everyone, and that is from 4 until 6. On August the 27th, we'll have our VLA kickoff and open house and meet the teacher for the middle school, and that's from 3 until 7. On the 28th, we have open house for all elementary schools, and that's from 3 until 6. And then the first day of school is September the 2nd, and we start at 7:15 a.m. for the high school and middle school, and 8:30 a.m. for elementary school. And usually our board members will come to some of our first day of school events. So thank you all.
You have, VSBA has the Freedom of Information Act, a guide for school board members and school administrators. And Ms. Artist did include that in your packet, but if you want a print copy, let her know. You know, it's about, 100 pages or so. So I didn't ask her to print copies for everybody, but if you prefer a hard copy, let Ms. Artist know, and she will print you a copy of that FOIA guide for school board members and school administrators, and it's of course available on the VSBA website. But if you want a hard copy, just tell Ms. Artist you want one. So now pursuant to, section 2.2-3711A1 and 2 of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, the board upon a motion and a second will convene a closed session to consider the following: personnel appointments, resignations, retirements, and stipends, intra-district student transfer requests, out-of-district student requests, title change with pay adjustment for food service employee, a contract term change for high school counselor, and a minimum wage increase. So we do need a motion. Second motion by Mr. Smith, second by Ms. Lane. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Of course, after the closed session, we'll go